Hello friends, thank you for clicking on this video and joining me in the launching of my educational channel. This is Miss Grace Classroom, and this is a place where you can come to learn about things for parents and how you can help your children at home, and for students sometimes we'll learn things together. But this first video is going to be mostly directed towards parents on how you can help your child prepare for school in this day and age of Common Core, which many parents find very frustrating, and at this point they just don't know how to help their kids, and so it becomes very overwhelming for them. So that's where I come in with this online classroom, which gives me an outlet to help students before and when they're in school. I have a master's degree in elementary education. I am a certified teacher. I am licensed in North Carolina. So yeah, let's get into today's video. So what I'm going to be doing is telling you a little bit about Common Core, first of all. So Common Core is basically a curriculum that has been adopted by 46 states, and I believe 4 states, Alaska, Texas, Nebraska, and Virginia, have not adopted it. Some states have adopted it with modifications. I believe North Carolina is one of those states where we have little modifications here and there. But for the most part, 46 states have adopted Common Core, so more than likely you will run into Common Core, and sometimes it cannot be so friendly. Now, as for my personal opinion on Common Core, I feel that it does have some benefits. If we started out, like the kids who first started with Common Core in kindergarten, in the long run, I think it's going to be better for them. But for those students who are transitioning, let's say our second, third, and up, like it's going to be kind of hard for them, and it's still hard and very challenging for them. Okay, so let me get into what you need to prepare your kids for kindergarten. Let's start with reading. So if you have a kindergartner, which means you have a 4 or 5 year old, and you like, how can I get my child to be ready for kindergarten in the day of Common Core? So first things, basics. Make sure your child knows their alphabets. Make sure that they can recognize the difference between uppercase and lowercase letters. Make sure they know their letter sounds. They're able to know the sounds of the words and not just recognize them. And make sure they have, if you want them to be a little bit more advanced, and I always lean on the side of making sure your child knows more and not just the basics before they come to school. So if you want to have your child be advanced, make sure they're able to decode, have good decoding skills, and they're able to segment words. So for instance, I'm going to show you an example really quick. So let's say we have the word, and we're going to do a make-believe word. So let's pretend that we have the word salve. Okay, so your child should be able to know that this is, and I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see. So make sure that they know that this is salve. Okay, they're able to decode even nonsense words like that. So again, that's salve. So they're able to do that even with what we call nonsense words. And I think that they'll be that will really help as they're going into kindergarten. Another thing in reading, print concepts. So make sure they know how to hold the book. Make sure that they know that we read from left to right, and that they're not looking at the book still upside down. They know that where the book starts in the beginning, and where the ending of the book is. So those are what we call in the educational community print concepts. Okay? All right, next. Okay, make sure they understand the relationship between illustrations and text. So they should be able to see a picture and understand as you maybe are reading, why this picture goes with this text. So they have to be able to see the connection between the two. So now we're going from phonics to more of the comprehension level, the basic comprehension levels that will be expected for a kindergartner. Okay, the next thing and the final thing that I would suggest that you have your child do before be able to do before entering kindergarten is to be able to retell a story while identifying the main idea. Now, for a 5-year-old, this could be very general, like very basic. But they're, they have the gist of what's happening in the story. It doesn't have to be all deep, not just yet, but as they're beginning to get ready to enter into kindergarten, they're able to retell the beginning, middle, and end, and have an idea of what is in general going on in the story. So that's good. Okay, so I would say have your child be able to count to 100 by both ones and tens. Now, remind you, I'm giving you the objectives directly from Common Core. These are the things that your child will be learning and expected to do in kindergarten. So if you want them to be ahead or want them to be on grade level, I would suggest you start practicing these things now, even though they're going to be learning it in school. So yeah, be able to count to 100 by ones and tens. Maybe be able to write numbers, compare numbers. They should be able to say which one has more, which one has less, identify when numbers are equal. Be able to compose and decompose numbers. So let me give you a quick example for that. Grab my board again. So, for instance, if I write the number 18, they should be able to tell me that this number has 1 10 and 8 ones. Okay? And they should also know that when I put these numbers back together, that they're going to equal 18. So that is decomposing and composing numbers in kindergarten. Okay? All right, next will be shapes. So identifying all your basic shapes, identifying what a side is, what a corner is, and I think that's basically it for shapes. And last but not least, adding and subtracting numbers between 1 and 20. Now, I would also suggest, and I'm going to give you another quick, and I'm going to do more videos with more details on each one of the things I just talked about. But quickly, if you want to be able to have them get even more advanced, then maybe have them start doing this. Okay, so identifying a missing number in an equation. So what plus 5 gives you 9? Okay. And that also kind of falls into composing and decomposing numbers as well. So, right off the top of my head, well, I did write down some things so it wouldn't be off the top of my head. But those are the basic things that you can do to help your child be prepared for kindergarten. I cannot stress this enough. You have to do work with your children before you send them to kindergarten because the curriculum is so rigorous and so challenging for these babies that if you send them and they don't have any background, you're not helping them at all, then they're going to fall behind unless it's, some special where you just have this extra brilliant child. They're going to fall behind. So you have to do some work at home before you send them to school because more than likely they're going to be in a class with 20 kids and maybe 1 or 2 teachers, and your child's not going to be able to get that one-on-one attention like he or she could when they're at home. So always make sure that you're doing the extra work so that the job of the teacher is easier. And most importantly, we want your child to be successful. So those are the things that I recommend you doing. Until next video, you guys be blessed, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.